Hi guys, welcome to Geeks 40k channel. My name's Pete. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through my Salamander chapter, the third chapter, and just talk to you about how the painting philosophy, the game philosophy of us on the channel, and just take you through a bit of army building, really, about how we build armies and how I go about building an army and how it sort of develops and grows, sort of thing. So, and also I'm a bit of a fluff monster. I like my fluff. I like to have every model in my army needs to have a sort of a character. So at the end of this video I'll be talking about potentially you guys naming some of my Marines. Some of them are already named, like everyone in the command squad. My Terminators are named, a few of my Devastators and a lot of my Sergeants are named, but there's still a few open to suggestions. So right, so first and foremost, where I start with an army is I always start with 2 troop choices and a HQ choice, because that means ultimately you can start playing straight away. It's the optimum way to have an army, basically. So without further ado, this is the first command squad. Well, this is the first squad I ever bought, and it was when I was getting back into it. So I literally just bought a Marine squad off the shelf and started painting them. So its configuration's got a flamer and a missile launcher, just a guy with a plasma pistol and a chainsword. Nothing particularly special about that, but they do the job. That missile launcher guy has done quite a lot. He seems to be a sniper. Every time I shoot up, he seems to hit something. So this is the second squad. These have got the forge wheeled shoulder pads. I also got to start to get a bit fluffy with these guys. So I've got a melter in there, 2 multi-melters, and the Sergeant's got a combi melter. I also put a power fist in there as well, just because I like the look of it. Then what I like to do is, well, that's that squad done, and then obviously we need to talk about HQ choices. So let's go over to my HQ choice, which is here. So I started with a captain. I just gave him a power sword and storm bolter. Also, I normally run him with artificer armour because it's got 2+ armour save, which is always helpful. Also got some flames on his cloak. You see that there's a flame guide coming, so I'll teach you how to paint my flames. And then I added some the command squad to him, just to add a bit of backbone, because just having a few wounds on him is 3 wounds on him is not enough, really. So I got to this point in my army now that I built the backbone, but I needed some punch. So what I needed to do really was just get something that I could add to my army, which was fairly quick to paint, didn't cost a fortune, but sort of fit into the army's fluff, really. So I went to an Ironclad dreadnought, and anyone who's ever played against my Ironclad dreadnought has a reason to fear him. He's taken out Imperial Knights before, squads of Terminators, Eldar Banshees, eats vehicles, and he's amazing. Having 13 armour on the front makes a big difference to it's a big difference to him. So anyone thinking of adding a walker, I would always recommend an Ironclad dreadnought. So this guy's become a bit of a legend in my army. He always performs. So yeah, and it just gives something, gives the enemy something else to shoot at. So that's really the backbone of my army. So then I really needed to get some ranged firepower, because it's a bit too close to combat. So that's when I added the Vindicator, and he is also amazing in my army. Never seems to miss. The same can't be said about my Devastators. The Devastators are probably the poorest performing bit of my army, but they look really nice, and I love the models of them. So I thought, why not? Let's just stick them in there. So they have taken out a few things occasionally, but the configuration I put on was probably not very optimum. So I've got 2 las cannons, a plasma cannon, and a rocket launcher. So I wanted to sort of have a unit that could take on all comers from a range, but for whatever reason doesn't seem to work very well. So the points reduction in the last Space Marine Codex has helped a lot. They're sort of a bit more viable now, but still not great. But but Vindicator is more than makes up for it. And then I added a Storm Talent. The reason why I added one of these is basically because I was getting mullered by a lot of people, flyers. So at the time, Space Marines didn't really have a lot of anti-air, and the talent had just come out, so I picked this up basically, and this has always been very good for my army as well. I've got it with Skyhammer missile launchers and assault cannons. So it's great at mowing down troops, but also does pretty well against flyers as well. So yeah, so it gives some people a lot of trouble. But the thing with being quite small, a lot of people ignore it, which, well, some of my friends shouldn't ignore it, but they do, because there's other things that are more worrying, basically. So yeah, so it's a great flyer. So then I added a Land Raider and Terminators. Now this was really just to start dealing with other people's Death Stars. So as you get to higher pointage, you get to come across other Death Stars. So things like Necron Lords, Greater Demons, those sort of things basically. So I added 5 Terminators with Storm Shields. I also have got a Chaplain in there and Vulcan in there. I normally run Vulcan or Chaplain depending on which one's optimum for that game. Vulcan is pretty good still, but having a weapon of AP3 is not particularly great against really hard units, but he's still a nice model and he was great to paint. So, but yeah, the Redeemer, I'll go for the Redeemer chassis as well on the Land Raider, just because the flames are amazing once you get up close, and it's AP3, so it will murder other tactical marines or chaos marines or anything like that. So yeah, so I also find that it's the best delivery system for a close combat unit, because you're going to be going up close anyway. So that's the way I do it. So okay, so the army is really much a complete unit now, in my opinion. So what I did now was just added a bit of fluff, really, just think of case of, well, what models do I really like. The Sternguard recently came out, so I bought 5 Sternguard. I didn't go overboard with the flamers. They've only got 3 flamers, 1 heavy flamer and 2 combi flamers, sorry, but that is enough to mow down most units. Yeah, I used them without a Razorback for a while, and they were pretty useless, to be honest with flamer. They're so easy to kill, but since I added the Razorback with the twin-lit las cannon, they've been pretty brilliant. They can just jump out, flame whatever you want. So they're a welcome addition to my army, and also the new models are amazing. So the Sternguard kit also, for modelers out there, has so many extra bits that you can buy 1 Sternguard kit and basically customise about 3 or 4 tactical squads to add a bit of flavour to all of them. So I would definitely recommend that kit, even though it seems quite expensive for just 5 models, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So okay, and then from then I was playing quite a few Apocalypse battles then, and I really needed some proper anti-tanks. I've got a little bit of anti-tank with Melter and a few Devastators, but I needed something that was going to be just dedicated to tank hunting. So what I did when I went from there was I bought a Predator with all the las. So this is a fairly new edition, so I haven't play tested that much, but it's been pretty good so far. So it's twin-lit las cannon on the turret, and then las cannon sponsored. So it's blown up a few things so far. Stick it behind the Icus defence line, and it's pretty difficult to kill as well. So yeah, so the army was pretty much complete, but what I did, just to show painting guides really and add a bit more point score objectives, is I added a 3rd tactical marine, so a tactical squad. So I painted obviously the 2 I've already talked to you about, but this is the most recent one I've painted, and this one was in coherence with the new Space Marine Codex. So I've added the grav to it, and I've also added a heavy bolter as well, just because I don't have a heavy bolter in my army. So that's basically my complete army. Okay, so the next thing I did was, next project is this bad boy. There he is. Yeah, so I'm coming up against quite a lot of super heavies now, and there's not really a lot in the Space Marine Codex which can directly deal with it. So, and to add something nice to it, I'm going to be working on Imperial Knight. So that is going to be the next video soon. So, so painting philosophy, our game philosophy on the 40k channel is basically if it's not painted, you don't play with it. The reason for that is we needed motivating really to get painted when we got back into the hobby, and it does motivate you if you know you've got a battle coming up, or you want to try a particular unit and you can't play with it until it's painted. It just gives you that extra push to get that done. So just as a painting tip, guys, if you ever need motivating to paint, just say never play with greys. The other thing as well is it's really not fair on you spending hours and hours and hours painting miniatures, and then for a guy to turn up fresh out the box with some super glue, turn up and just play against you, and most of the time as well they're the sort of players that wipe the floor with you as well, which is very frustrating. So we just want to knock that on the head really. So that's sort of our philosophy. So you'll never see an unpainted miniature on our guide, so on our channel. So really what the last thing I want to say before I leave you guys is there's quite a few miniatures in my army that I want to name and actually have names for. So if you guys want to contribute, put comments in the comments below. If you want to name any of your Marines, I will dedicate Marines to you. I'll also be doing a roll call, a death toll for any of my guys that die in battle that I've got named. So you can keep a track on your Salamander guy if he survived the battle or died. Okay, yeah, so the first battle we got is this weekend, so stay tuned for that. So that's basically it, guys. If you've got any want to comment, give any suggestions to our channel, how we can improve it, that'd be fantastic. Also, if you like and subscribe. Okay, see you soon. I'll be back with some painting guides.